Rob has pants on, so we're ready to go. We're going to be talking about drama here at the Gold Derby Editor Slugfest. We've gotten some notifications, some good notifications that, stuff like that we didn't know before, like Tandy Newton is in fact supporting and not lead. So does she become the default front runner at this point? I guess that's what we'll actually kick it off with drama series. So we've got 7 slots, and we've got a bunch of new shows coming out. The expert predictions came out, and a lot of them have omitted Westworld. Do you guys think Westworld makes it in there?
I have omitted Westworld too. I think it's going to miss out, and it's going to be one of those stories on the day where it's like, wow, what happened to Westworld? And then we'll have all these reasons why it makes total sense why Westworld didn't get nominated. At this point in time, it makes sense that it's probably part of the equation, but I just have this feeling that it wasn't as beloved as people think, and it was a little confusing. It's very sci-fi, very genre, and HBO has other horses in the race. So, yeah.
But that other horse is The Leftovers. So, I mean, how likely is it that HBO is not going to be in the drama series lineup? I mean, step back and think about that. When was the last time they were not in the drama series lineup? I can't even off the top of my head think of the date, think of a year. And that's the reason why I'm keeping The Leftovers, Westworld in there, because I think it's the more likely of the two. Although I would prefer The Leftovers.
That's a really good point, actually. I hadn't considered.
That's a very good point. Are any of you taking Westworld out?
Well, I had it out, but now I might put it back. I hate going against trends like that, and that is a really strong trend. I mean, Deadwood got in, and
Boardwalk Empire.
They always seem to have one. It's
a very good argument.
True Blood got in.
True Blood and Big Love got in back-to-back years, and that was the only nomination True Blood got that year.
I think I'm going to have to change it.
Yes, but what do I take out now?
Here's the thing:
Better Call Saul.
So many Netflix things in there. Like Netflix isn't going to have 3 or maybe 4 contenders in this very small lineup, and neither is Hulu probably, because I've currently got Handmaid's Tale. So we really have to think very carefully about Westworld, given that it's only The Leftovers that HBO has. So they're going to put a lot of effort behind it, aren't they?
Right. Oh, it's so interesting. Right now I have This Is Us winning. Don't laugh at me.
I have as well. I have that as well. I'm going to change it shortly because I think it's died down. But I see where you're coming from.
I didn't know we were playing fantasy Emmys. Like we could just pick whatever we wanted.
Okay, in another Slugfest, I said we had the A Team.
That was the A Team stuff.
I said that it was the new Modern Family. Of course, it's in drama, and Modern Family was in comedy, but it has such a broad appeal. It had so much buzz when it aired. I mean, yes, the buzz has died down, but I mean, where's the buzz for Stranger Things? Where's the buzz for The Crown? All of these shows, once they're off the air, they die down.
The Crown is going to have a boost in buzz in a couple of weeks, though, right after the BAFTA Awards. It's going to get some more momentum after it sweeps those. Every time one of those royal members of the royal family sneezes, they mention in that show. So I think this is Netflix's now or never kind of moment. Like, can they win now that Game of Thrones is not in the way? Because let's just say that Game of Thrones comes back the next 2 years and wins, just hypothetically based off how it's done. It wins the next 2. This is its best chance right now to win. But I just saw the trailer for House of Cards, and it made me nauseous, and it had nothing to do with the show. Just in general, I'm like, I don't know if I can watch this year.
Yeah, it's too close to reality, isn't it?
It's just like, oh God.
Wow,
so if this is Netflix's year, which one do you go with? Do you go with The Crown or Stranger Things?
Or House of Cards?
Or House of Cards, because I've got all 3 in my list. I think Stranger Things has a lot more buzz than what you're giving it credit for.
Yeah, I don't think The Crown is that high up there. I mean, it won the Golden Globe, sure, but so did Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Mozart in the Jungle and everything else. And it didn't win SAG. It won 2 SAG awards, but it wasn't able to capture ensemble at the Screen Actors Guild. It probably would not have won for Claire Foy if they probably wouldn't have won for Claire Foy if 2 Stranger Things cast members were not nominated at the same time. So there's a lot of things that just don't really add up to The Crown being this uber lock that some people on the boards expect it to be. I mean, Downton Abbey was able to win SAG, 4 times? And
Three.
another British show comes in and is not able to do it. Downton never won at the Emmys for Best Series. It only won miniseries. So I don't really see.
But we don't know if that first season, if it had been entered in drama series, if it would have won. We don't know because it entered in the miniseries race.
And it won, right?
Yeah, so we can't say for sure. And you have to remember that in the 23-year history of the SAG Awards, that split where a show wins both acting individual prizes on the drama side and doesn't pick up the series race has only happened one other time, and that was when The Sopranos, Edie Falco and James Gandolfini won, but they gave it to 6 Feet Under. That's a very, very rare split. Usually if you win both, you're going to win the series race also. But I think Downton Abbey probably just canceled it out. I think if it was next year, they probably would have won.
I don't know. I think Stranger Things was won by a landslide. I mean, I had told you guys a while back that Stranger Things was going to win that prize because it was so popular. And we're talking about a popular vote here. That's just the way, waves go here, is that the people are going to go for what they've seen and what they really like. The Crown, sure, that split is rare, but I mean, I think that speaks to it, that it was not able to pick up that ensemble prize because everything else before it had. So why wouldn't this? I mean, it doesn't add up to being a clear front runner. And especially when you have stuff like House of Cards coming back and Stranger Things, and you've got, Better Call Saul and all of these other series that are, I mean, This Is Us. I agree with Marcus. I think that's probably the biggest one out of all of it, or out of all of them that could upset. Maybe not even upset. Maybe it is a front runner.
Maybe it is at the moment.
And then you have a show that's really, really buzzed about, right now, as the Emmy voting will begin in a month or so. Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, it's huge.
Which is, I love what Hulu's doing, where they put all 3 episodes out, the first 3, and now it's weekly after that. It's 1 a week, just like a normal network. That is how you sustain buzz. That's how something like Netflix, I think, is heard at the Emmys, because when the Stranger Things comes out, it's the biggest show in the world for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then buzz just goes away. Like 13 Reasons Why.
But the buzz for This Is Us has died down too, because it's ended airing. So it's in the same situation, you could say, as those 2 Netflix shows, where it's going to been off the air 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, but it had buzz for 9 months. I don't know, like September to March. Sustained buzz week to week after each episode would air.
But I would say The Crown's buzz is about to renew, because we're just about to see it at the BAFTA TV Awards. So it's going to get some more attention.
But who cares about the BAFTA TV Awards? BAFTA Film Awards, sure. But who really pays attention to that? If you ask the average Emmy voter out there, they probably couldn't tell you who won last year's BAFTA TV Awards.
It's just going to keep it in the news.
The thing is, I think Amanda does have a slight point. Like when Catastrophe won that award at the BAFTAs, it did help its narrative in getting that writing award at the Emmys. In some way it did, because it was discussed by us and others. Maybe if The Crown does very well, it'll just reverberate all the way over to LA that, wow, The Crown really smashed it over there, and maybe we should remember that when we're voting. Maybe.
I think the House of Cards buzz at that point, which releases at the end of this month, is going to overtake anything that The Crown would regurgitate from a BAFTA.
I think the thing with when I think of The Crown, I think of it as kind of like the same kind of show, same kind of thing when The King's Speech was in the Oscars. No matter how new and fresh and interesting all these other shows were, or these other movies were, for some reason they just kept giving the series wins, regardless of what happened. And we were all like, come on, how is this continually winning? I just think there's something about this snob appeal and the prestige that is going to keep it in there.
Very prestigious, yes. Probably the most prestigious of the 7, 8 shows we've talked about.
Oh, for sure. And budgetary and it's it did very well. It was, I don't think the ratings were as over the top as some of these other shows, though. Was it? Was The Crown really that well?
We'll never know. They keep it secret.
Yeah. Can I ask you guys, what do you all have The Handmaid's Tale in your 7 at the moment?
Yes, it is absolutely my favorite show.
Me too. Isn't it wonderful? It's such a great show.
This is Elizabeth Moss's best performance ever. Yeah. Forget Mad Men, forget Top of the Lake.
It's great.
This is Claire Foy's nightmare come alive, because here she comes at the perfect moment to overtake her. And I'm just like, every episode of the 4 we've seen has been amazing. She could submit any of those 4 we've seen so far.
The
And you're like,
the best one, I think, actually. I've seen up to 7, and the 4th one's really, really good.
oh
isn't
my
it?
God, you've seen 7?
God.
I've seen the first 2. She's very subtle.
Yeah, she is. But
The Emmys don't like subtle.
No,
It
but
gets
it's so timely. The year's perfect for this.
Does she have a wig scene? Does she pull off her wig? 'Cause that's what they like, you guys. I joke about it all the time, but that's the kind of thing Emmy voters like. They like things thrown across the room and plates and stuff.
Well, you're right. I mean,
You
Kerry
root
Russell
for this
has big
character.
scenes,
I mean, there's just such a rooting factor for her, and
I don't know. I hope that Hulu can do it. I just don't know if they're paying enough attention to Hulu. We used to say this about Netflix and Amazon, and that's now a ridiculous argument because they've taken over. Is Hulu really that much of a player that I can get a drama series and drama actress nomination, and maybe even a supporting player, depending on who they go for?
I would love to see Alexis Bledel, episode 3, if you haven't seen it. I don't know if she's going supporting or guest, depending on how many episodes.
She's great in that, isn't she?
She doesn't speak a word till the final 2-3 minutes of this, and you're just, every thought she's had. She is completely buried Rory Gilmore in an unmarked grave. Like, you're not thinking this is the same actress who's played Rory. This is like a completely...
She's older. She's more like, she's just insanely good. And so is Yvonne Strahovski as the wife. She's fantastic.
But how pissed would
show
NBC be if The Handmaid's Tale got in and This Is Us didn't? I bet they'd pull their streaming from...
Alexis Bledel is going guest. She's in the guest actress category.
Very good.
Yay! She's gonna win an Emmy.
I think Amanda's right in terms of the Elizabeth Moss factor. I mean, we have to remember is that we can give all of these stats all that we want about Emmy voters and what they like to do, but last year completely threw everything out of out that we knew. I mean, it's a completely different voting system. And there's so many more people now voting in the categories, and it's become so much more diverse that just because Sopranos won back then, and HBO's had a great string of nominations, doesn't mean that this year is the same thing is going to happen with the Westworld. Handmaid's Tale, if it was last year, I would have told you probably not, even though it's people are really excited about it and seem to like it a lot. But Hulu hired probably one of the best Emmy Award,
consultant.
Thank you,
consultants around, and her name is Gina Pence, and she's incredible. I mean, she helped Modern Family to where it went. She's helped an incredible amount of shows that she had handled before that have all gone into acting and series wins. So I completely agree in terms of what Amanda's saying. I think it gets in for drama, and I think it gets in for actress, and I would not be shocked if Elizabeth Moss takes that prize.
Oof,
and she's a past nom. She's
overdue.
Been nominated a lot. Claire Foy was snubbed for Wolf Hall for Anne Boleyn. So
yeah, she was. That's a good point.
That
race kills. Have we moved off drama series yet? Because we can talk about drama actors.
There's one thing that Amanda said that made me. I want to ask you a question. Why do you think Better Call Saul maybe won on the bubble?
Yeah, good question.
I just think the residual goodwill of Breaking Bad might be gone. Bryan Cranston didn't win. It didn't get a writing or a directing nomination. Granted, they were idiots and submitted 9 each last year, which is their own fault.
Crazy.
But when I think of the shows that are eligible,
no.
It's just it's like that. The Americans, maybe Mr. Robots. With so many new shows, we're going to see a reset where some of these are like, okay, you know what? We nominated you. We proved it. You're out. We're moving into new ones now.
This is the most Breaking Bad season yet, though.
Yeah,
exactly.
And it's pretty good. It's still a bit slow, but it's good with Gus in there.
I would agree on the Americans and on the other one that you had mentioned.
Mr. Robot.
Yeah, Mr. Robot, and maybe even Homeland being, those three being out. I think Better Call Saul is pretty ingrained in there. I think, especially Bob Odenkirk will be back. Probably Jonathan Banks will be back.
I have them getting back.
came back from Breaking Bad. I mean, that kind of rejuvenated the show. So I think that one's pretty safe. But I can see where you're saying it's going to be a complete reset because we do have so many new big shows that are here.
Oh, look, you just said the Americans. I hope that's not the case for the Americans. I have it in second at the moment. I think it's actually on the rise. I think now that it's broken through, surely it is not going to just completely miss out this year. I hope not.
Amanda, why aren't you laughing at that? Second? I mean,
I'm
first for This Is Us. Come on.
This
Is Us makes sense.
I mean, I think there's more.
The Americans make sense?
No, because I think...
No.
I think it might just be one of those where they're like, okay, you know what? We've been bugged enough. Here you go.
Exactly.
It
like Justified.
Yeah, it just kind of there was kind of a lull last year where there wasn't enough new stuff. All right. Okay, we did it once. We saw How I Met Your Mother for its third season got in, which was the year right before Glee and Modern Family came in. And then it was the first one gone. So it's like last one in, first one out.
Why isn't it like Friday Night Lights, which really broke through for season 4, then season 5 really, really broke through, got a drama series nomination, and the two leads, Kyle Chandler won. I think Kerry Russell could certainly give Claire Foy and Elizabeth Moss, a run for her money. So I think the Americans is certainly still in the mix.
I think in a plurality vote, it might favor new people coming in than those who've stuck around. We're going to have to wait and see because basically we have pre-2016 and post-2016. So we don't know really yet. We don't have a big enough sample.
Yeah.
And there was really, if she couldn't just come in last year and do it when she really had like the boost of momentum, it's her first nomination. She's been ignored from the CW or whatever it once was. She finally is in, the show's in, her boyfriend's in. Why not then? Why a year later? Unless something spectacular has happened this season that would justify a big boost in buzz.
Good points. All good points.
Sorry. I don't want to hurt your feelings because I know
you've really hurt my feelings. I'm going now.
I currently have Viola Davis winning. I think the Oscar is going to...
I like that.
However,
that happens.
You guys, you may be convincing me about Elizabeth Moss. So I may have to make a switch here.
I can't see Viola Davis winning. I think that is just yesterday's news now, that show and her performance on it.
She's literally today's news. She won an Oscar like 2 months ago.
I think they gave her the Emmy.
I think it depends on how much goodwill she has and has it ran out. If it's still going, yeah. If Claire Foy and Elizabeth Moss split the vote, yeah, she might be the benefactor of that situation. I haven't finalized, I just have them based on how I think they're going to get nominated, not who's going to win.
Yeah, that's
the nominations come out, I might go Elizabeth Moss, Viola Davis, Claire Foy, or Claire Foy. Viola Davis will be in second because I think if the vote splits, she probably would be the one who would benefit the most.
That's if there is a vote split.
That's if there's a vote split.
But I could see how some people are going to vote for Claire Foy. She's playing the Queen Elizabeth II. I can see how people are going to vote for Elizabeth Moss. Hey, she's overdue for her Emmy. And it might not take that many people in a plurality vote to sneak in there.
Do you guys have Taraji P. Henson in there at all?
I'm thinking about putting Taraji P. Henson in and taking out Kerry Russell or Claire Danes.
Oh my God.
I have Taraji in there. I think Hidden Figures did wonders for her. She was snubbed at the Oscars. She's still extremely popular. The show, it may not be what it was 2 years ago or 3 years ago. Was this fourth season?
2 years.
2 years ago. But she's still extremely popular and extremely well liked. So I have her in there over. I have Kerry Russell out, and I think Claire Danes out because there's just so much competition in that category. It's stacked.
It's ridiculous.
The thing about Taraji is, I think last I checked, we have 15 experts now predicting, and they're ranking 1 through 6. Nobody has Taraji in any of their positions. So she has 100-to-1 odds, which is crazy because everything you said makes sense. The whole Hidden Figures thing and the SAG victory for the show, for the movie, but she has zero support from the experts. That's interesting to me.
Yeah, go back and look at the experts' predictions from last year, and then compare them to our predictions, and you probably don't want to follow the experts very much on what you're doing. Also, what do you guys think about Evan Rachel Wood? Sorry, Rob, I just didn't want to miss Evan Rachel Wood from Westworld. Does she get in?
I don't have her in.
No.
I bumped her for Elizabeth Moss.
Yeah, me too. And that's because it's really, really stacked, isn't it? It's so wonderful to see so many excellent actresses in contention. But I have Robin Wright in there, and I haven't seen her performance yet, but I can't imagine her missing out. And so at this point, Evan Rachel Wood, she really deserves a nomination. She was fantastic at Westworld.
Right. And Christine Baranski deserves a nomination. I mean,
I have her in first, but I'm about to move her. I've had her in there from the beginning because, we were told, be creative, enjoy the process because it's early. And I think when it was really early, before I saw Handmaid's Tale, before I saw The Americans, I thought, maybe this is Christine Baranski's makeup Emmy. And she really is fantastic in The Good Fight. Obviously, I don't think that's going to happen, but I think she could get nominated. There is a lot of goodwill for her.
And let's not forget, Amanda, cover your ears. Let's not forget Mandy Moore for This Is Us, because if the This Is Us train takes off, she could ride its coattails.
I think that's
really
silly.
great. And
That's a good call.
She's got a really great publicist.
She's excellent in that.
No, I love This Is Us. I just, I'm kind of a realist when it comes to, it's been a while since we've seen a network show in there. So
she plays essentially two characters, not really, but I mean, she has the past version and the present version. She has makeup for the present version, and they love that. The voters love that kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, look at Louis Anderson last year, right? That's what we were saying, because he transforms.
Mm-hmm.
He's got it, and he won. So let's go to supporting real quick because we're running out of time.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, we didn't do lead actor.
Oh yeah, lead actor. Sorry, that's one of it. Let's go to lead actor.
Again, This Is Us for me. I think Sterling K. Brown.
And I want to see the nominations, and of course, I probably have Sterling in 5th or 6th because I'm very hedging about new people in any of these categories. But I think if Sterling K. Brown is the only new person, which he could possibly be, then he will win. But if it's like Anthony Hopkins surprised us and he got in, that's gonna worry me a little bit.
Yeah, I don't think.
The thing
I don't think it's worth Anthony Hopkins.
It's not as stacked as the actress category, is it? Not even close.
No, I would worry about Bob Odenkirk in this lineup here to go on to win, because the second episode for him was really incredible. And last year, a lot of people thought that maybe he could upset if Rami Malek didn't win, and everybody was predicting Kevin Spacey because they weren't sure about Rami Malek yet. So I wouldn't dismiss him completely from this. Hopefully, you guys all have him in your nominations because he's probably going to get back in there.
He's in 3rd.
Oh yeah.
The thing about Sterling is, I mean, he's a big time movie star in the making. He's filming 2 movies right now as we're speaking, and he just won an Emmy last year, of course, for People vs. OJ. So he's a star on the rise, kind of like Melissa McCarthy was when she won. So they're going to win. The Emmys are going to want to get on that ride with him and help make him an even bigger star.
Well, they put him on the map, so they might just want to rubber stamp that they're the ones who did that. But I worry about Billy Bob Thornton sneaking into this race because I don't love Goliath.
Gosh.
But it's a David E. Kelly show, and you know how that happens sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I thought the same thing about Patrick Stewart last year for his show, just because he's Patrick Stewart, and it didn't happen. So it kind of tempered me on this year's Billy Bob Thornton, because that's what I originally thought too when he got in at the Globe. So I was like, wow, could he actually get in there? But
Patrick Stewart's show is on Stars, and they never nominate people from Stars.
That's a rule.
Don't tell Stars that. They're really hoping this year they get something.
That's what we said last year. We thought last year was the breakthrough, and it didn't really happen. And
so many people had Katrina Balfe in their predictions to get in.
That was a mistake. Why?
Outlander. Oh my God! Don't
even please. Let's not talk about it. It upsets me.
That's like people having the leftovers in their predictions. It just doesn't make sense. The only people that watch it are the people from Gold Derby.
This year's different. It's in the Game of Thrones time slot.
That's not true.
It's all changed this year. It could totally.
That's why it's ending this season.
It's ending because HBO gave it an extra 8 episodes to wrap it up for goodwill for Damon Lindelof. But Outlander is a different story. It's not just Gold Derby watching that. I mean, that's huge. That's a
Outlander. Yeah, I didn't say Outlander. The leftovers. I just meant in terms of people having it in their nominations.
Oh, I have none of it being nominated. But in a perfect world, it would be. Does everyone have Liev Schreiber? Because he's like the contender that I think I'm very little not excited about at all, but he's always there.
Yeah,
his show's good. It's about Hollywood.
He's safe for a nomination, I think.
If we didn't have so many new shows, I think Ray Donovan probably would have snuck into the drama race this year.
Yeah, it's on the ascendancy. tendency. Okay, are we moving on from actor?
Kyle Chandler, I'm looking now. He's in 42nd place, which is
I have him in there.
That's fantastic.
Well, no one's seen it yet. I'm sure once we see it, we'll reconsider.
Well, and also it was just announced that Bloodline was coming back. So originally we didn't have him in the prediction center when it first opened. So that's why he's so low.
Yeah. So Matthew Reeves is in trouble.
That show had a huge win last year. No one saw coming. Ben Mendelsohn. So watch out.
Yeah,
that's not going to happen this year.
Not.
John Lithgow is going to win regardless of
he's already won, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Let's talk about drama supporting actor now because that's a killer. For me.
Yeah, he won the moment he appeared.
Yes.
You disagree?
I hate that because it's like really we thought that last year about certain things and it didn't.
We were right a lot though.
There is no way an American playing the prime minister at the level of excellence of John Lithgow as he plays Winston Churchill.
I hope so. He was great.
Once he wins that BAFTA award, that will cement his place as the Emmy winner because he is. Well, I did not think he could pull this off, and if you haven't seen episode 9, it's.
That's so
he would win an escape system.
Can we talk about who are his chief competitors? Because to me, it's David Harbour and Ron Cephas-Jones. Does anyone else think so?
I think David Harbour sneaks into the category because of a SAG award speech, but I don't think he's going to have the support that someone as popular as John Lithgow will have.
John Lithgow puts on this performance with the wig, and
he transforms.
And like, how pissed are you if you're dead Winston Churchill? Because you're about to win an Emmy, probably. You won a SAG, and you're going to probably win, or could potentially win an Oscar because Brian Cox is playing you. This year as well. I mean, this guy is getting all of his hardware.
Gary Oldman's playing him too this year.
Gary Oldman too. Yeah, he's getting a lot of play.
I'm doing a gallery on Winston Churchill, and it's like there's so many of them that have won awards. I'm like, I can't narrow people out just easily.
What about not Breaking Bad? Better Call Saul. You have Jonathan Banks and Giancarlo Esposito and Michael McKean. Are they just going to split the vote?
I wonder if Giancarlo Esposito. I need to catch up on like an episode or 2 behind, but I wonder if Giancarlo Esposito just replaces Jonathan Banks this year.
Because I had both of them in. Giancarlo Esposito is excellent in the most recent episode that I watched last night. I think episode 4. He's a typical, he's very understated guy, so brooding and terrifying. I just think he's wonderful. He's made me love that show even more. And I think Emmy voters will feel the same way. I really do, because he almost won that Emmy if it wasn't for Aaron Paul. I think back in the day, a few years ago.
I think if his episode had been in English, he probably would have won. I think there was a lot of people who probably just got turned off from having to read subtitles.
I don't know, but he is excellent. I think I'm going to take out Michael McKean because I'm finding his character extremely grating. That's just personal opinion. Take him out, and I'm going to put in Giancarlo Esposito in his place.
Yeah, I took out John Voight to put David Harbour in.
Oh, he's gone.
I think the whole Trump association.
The Trump thing's done.
Yeah.
We're done with you. And Ed Harris, I have him in there. The only Westworld person I have is where
I don't have Ed Harris or Jeffrey Wright.
I don't have any Westworld guys in there.
I think the guys have just been kind of lackluster where I think if they had Anthony Hopkins in supporting, they might have been able to sneak him in. Which, man, would that have been a race between him and John Lithgow? Oh, I would have loved that.
Brilliant.
Speaking of a race, though, that supporting actress category, the top half of it
hurts me.
A beast. I mean, you have Tandy Newton, you have Winona Ryder, you've got Millie Bobby Brown, you have Chrissy Metz, who I still have winning this thing. I mean, those are 4 powerhouse performances that have gotten a lot of acclaim and buzz this year. I mean, how would you even...
We all have them, right? Who do you have for your 5 and 6, Ralph, after those 4?
That's a good question. I have Uzo Aduba, who I also think could steal this whole thing because their episode, if it was episode only, Uzo Aduba would have won this and nobody would touch her.
I don't think so. I think Tandy Newton has a knockout episode.
Oh,
not to rival Uzos. Not to rival Uzos.
She does. Oh my gosh.
She does not to rival Uzos.
And I tell you the last time Uzo was going to lose and she lost. And
Vera Farmiga I also have as well.
Oh, really?
Oh, me too.
Really?
I have Vera in, I think, 3rd place. I have, she's just absolutely fantastic.
I don't think Bates Motel, is it really going to be on the radar? Really?
Well, the fact that it got 2 noms last year out of nowhere really, really tells me they came on late to the show, and I think this could be, you know, the resurgence.
Well, they were like cinematography and something else, right?
Music, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Outlander got a couple as well.
Yeah. That production and costume design, they're on their way up.
You've got to think about Margot Martindale. She wins for a one scene, one episode performance in guest. They love her. She's now in supporting for the Americans. She's got more of a media role in this season. She's in. She's at the end of the category.
By meteor, you mean she's in 2 scenes instead of 1, right? Because
yeah, that's right.
I'm caught up on the Americans, and she has.
Why couldn't Margot Martindale, if she's so beloved, get in for The Good Wife last year? If they love her so much and they're going to award her for anything, I think the guest roles have. I think the guest categories have different rules.
Okay.
And I have Constance Zimmer. They're going to ramp up and do press right before staying in the only one from last year, and then I have Vanessa Kirby for The Crown.
Oh my God, I love her in The Crown. She's excellent. I wish
she would definitely give Uzo and Tandy a run for their money on episodes.
She's BAFTA nominated. I think she is BAFTA.
Yeah, BAFTA and Jared Harris. Jared Harris got in for BAFTA too. Yeah. He plays King George the Sixth, I think. I don't know.
Oh, I love that, Amanda. I'm gonna hope and pray for. I don't believe in God, but I won't pray. Vanessa Kirby. I'm going for her.
Do you worry, like, long term about Millie Bobby Brown and Winona Ryder canceling themselves out? Because the Game of Thrones people canceled themselves out last year, and I'm not 100% sure that, like, name 5 teenagers who've been nominated in the past 15 years. Like, she's 13.
Right.
If there's one bias they have, it's young people. She's
nominated though, right? She's definitely going to be nominated.
I think and in this category, they just booted. I mean, there's a kid not eligible anymore, Macy Williams, right, from Game of Thrones, who got it. Millie Bobby Brown got nominated for a Screen Actors Guild individual Screen Actors Guild award. So I think she's pretty okay in there, especially with those 4 open slots that we had. But I agree with you. I think they could end up canceling each other out again in terms of the win. Just because they're both pretty much equally popular on the show.
If she didn't have that SAG nomination, I wouldn't put her in my predictions. I'll be frankly honest about it.
That's probably true. I have Chrissy Metz.
Well, that's because you're racist against children.
No, I'm not a racist. I'm a realist.
Prejudice.
Name me 5 teenagers who've been nominated. I'll give you 2. Chris Colfer.
But Amanda, it's the SAG.
19.
SAG gets her up.
Williams. So you've got 2
Fred Savage.
Frankie Muniz.
Frankie Muniz. Yeah.
On the drama side, name me.
Now you're being Donald Trump and trying to get a little more specific.
Oh, don't! That's an insult.
Look, I think she's bigly going to be nominated, and I think Chrissy Metz is going to win because she's going to benefit from the Stranger Things canceling out of votes.
So we could see This Is Us win actor
and supporting actress,
and drama series. And maybe writing and maybe directing.
That's actually that sounds really unlikely to me, but yeah. It's possible. The more I think about Tandy Newton's amazing episode that she should submit and how everyone seems to like her in that show, the more I'm thinking she is a possibility too.
And remember, she was the only individual nominee from Westworld amongst a cast of who's who.
Oh, thousands.
Yeah. She's been constantly singled out. She was great the entire season.
Right.
I love the drama categories. I love them.
Yeah.
No, but I think it's still Chrissy Metz because if you've got to compare, and we're on a popular vote now, how many people have watched Westworld versus how many people have watched This Is Us? I'm pretty sure there's a massive amount of millions who have watched This Is Us more than they've watched Westworld.
Hopefully HBO will do their job. But guys, and Ralph, you'll probably have a comment about this. I'm hoping that Uzo makes it back in, and it'll be the only thing we see from Orange in these categories. Sad. It is really sad because it was such an incredible season. Like Samira Wiley should be here, and
Samira Wiley's wisely staying for just Handmaids.
Yeah, and Laurie Petty should be here, and there should be a whole bunch of. There should all be Orange is the New Black actresses, but I hope Uzo comes back because she deserves it. She really does.
I mean, Samira was submitted for Orange, but she is getting pushed for Handmaids via Gina Pence and her representation.
And don't forget about Ann Dowd. She would be a great one of those career veteran achievement nominees. If she snuck in for The Handmaid's Tale, look out for her to pull like a Margot Martindale Justified kind of win.
She's fantastic. And then there's Rhea Seehorn.
Yeah, she missed out last year, so that hurts her.
She should have won the damn thing last year.
I think it's just one of those things for anyone who's trying to get in not from a new show. It's just going to be harder because there's just so much new this year.
So much good.
Yeah, usually if there'd been one new show we're all talking about, then maybe Ray Seahorn could get in. Maybe Paula Malcolmson from Ray Donovan, who had a far more increased storyline this year, justifiably has an episode that would make her competitive.
Yeah.
Where she shoots an intruder and then has to tell her husband she has cancer. That usually would get you in the running if you were nominated. But it's just so crazy competitive.
Yeah, and we don't know about Patricia Clarkson on House of Cards, what her, what she's got going this season. I mean, she's a big name. She could also
multiple Emmy winner.
Yeah, I mean, we can't count her out. So it's these drama races, Rob said, they're awesome because they're just so stacked all the time. And so now we move on to the unstacked in comedy. So guys, we'll be back.